Hi, this is David again, and once again, this is the Discount Dragon talking about our dragon claws today. And we've gotten to a pretty finished point. We've got a couple layers of color on. We've got the nice antique gloss glaze mixed with a little of the acrylic stain, and then we've got off-white and bone tones in here. Now, one of the things that I like to do with these and other fantasy-related projects is before I totally finish them up, once I've got all the rest of the painting done, I like to come in and add a little extra touch. And that is very frequently adding interference colors. Now, interference colors are very interesting. They're not exactly the same as an iridescent color. They're actually transparent paints that have flakes of mica in them with titanium added in. So as you can see, it's not got a whole lot of color to it, but maybe you can tell from the video or not, but it gives you an iridescent light red effect. And this is going to vary depending on the underlying color, because you've got the translucent paint and then you have got the little flecks of iridescent material floating on it. But you put a little bit of this on the top, and it gives you that extra little sort of magical shimmer to your product without turning it totally metallic. This one I'm just thinking I'm going to go straight with the red. Let's take a look. Maybe a little more down here. So I think that's pretty nice. We'll go with that. Now that we've got our piece completely finished, we are going to mount it. And I'll show you how I do it. And of course, this is usable not just for Fimo dragon claws, but for most, Fimo-based products that you want to put in a frame. So you've got the frame here, just a standard sort of frame. And I just go in here, and it's going to vary a bit depending on how the frame's laid out.
While you're doing that, I want to see, I can totally see the shimmering on this.
Oh, good.
The problem is it's not being picked up by the camera. Yep, right there, right in the middle. It's a little bit, but most of it is very shimmery, and you really can't see it on, I don't know, maybe because of the light. You can sort of see little glints, but it doesn't seem to be picking up.
Yeah, it is a subtle effect.
Yeah, it's really cool. No, it's really cool. Yeah.
And this stuff goes a long, long way. So you take this, you remove the glass because we're not going to be using that. And typically, I'll put a cloth backing or a leather backing in here. So you take this and you take your piece of glass, use that as a template, and cut a piece of foam core that's the same size as your piece of glass. Set aside your piece of glass. Then you're going to take your leather or cloth backing, in this case we're using simulated leather, and just cut out a piece. You can go around it with a pen or something to mark it out. I'm just kind of doing it quick and easy here. Then again, maybe we'll use the pen. We'll use the pencil, because I'm just trying to rush through it a little faster than we need to, or is sensible. So here I'm just using pencil. Now, one of the nice things about using pencil on the reverse side of the material is you don't have to worry about pen and bleed through, because of course pencil's not going to bleed through anything. There you go. You've laid it out. Take some large scissors and cut this out real quick. And once we've got this cut out, we are going to glue it onto that piece of foam core. You can use a lot of different glues, but one that I'm quite partial to is this one here, which is Dualit. It's slightly higher in price than some of the others, but it's also non-toxic and very versatile. So I can use it for stuff like this. I can also use it for attaching things to fabric and for a variety of other purposes, which you'll see in other demos down the line. Now, if you're using a fabric or a leather, you're going to want to control your usage of the glue, because you will get bleed through from the glue because the fabric's porous. Tap that down a bit. Now the edges are usually pretty safe because there's an overlap with the frame itself. So you can put a reasonable amount of glue all the way along the edge and not have to worry too much about it showing. Now in the center you want to put a little bit just to keep the material from sagging over time. I just do a little bit of a residue there just to give it some grab. And we just apply our material. I really like the aged leather look myself, but you can use a whole ton of different sorts of materials depending on what sort of theme you're going with. And we just pop this into the back, press it in a little bit. Now, if I was doing this nice and slow, I would also take the glue here and tack it down in a few spots. We're going to skip that process just for the demo. And actually, since the glue hasn't held yet, this isn't being held flat, so it's all warpy. So just assume that it was stuck in there and it was nice and smooth and done correctly. And once this is dry, all assembled and everything, the way that you attach this is you come in here and you first get your wires nice and straight. Then you just kind of hold it out at a distance to decide where to place it. And that looks pretty decent. You're going to have some leeway because the wires are going to be flexible and you're going to be able to shift it around a bit. Now you're going to want to take a sharp point and find your spots. And we come in here, punch a hole, like that, and another hole over here, like that. Of course, if this was all glued down permanently, it would not be so wiggly. But we're just kind of going to give you the general idea. Once again, this would have been mounted in here already and glued in. And we would end up with something like that. Now, on the back side of this, you do need to go in and take the ends of your wires and make them more secure. Before you do that though, take this, pull it out again, put a little glue along the back edge of this so it gives you an extra little grab. That way you're not relying just on the wires. Then flip it over and bend these wires down. Kind of like a brad. Now another thing you can do that I like to do is take the wires, bend them at a right angle like that, poke a little hole in the back of the foam core, and then kind of push the end of the wire down in there like that to give yourself a nice grab into the material. I mean, because I'm really about structural stability and long-term durability on these projects. So you do that on both of those, get those nice and tight, and then once you've got those all settled, you take the jewelette, put some there, glue it down nice and tight, get everything done, and you're pretty much done. You've got your everything glued in place, in theory. We're just kind of rushing through this, but you got everything glued in place, it's ready to display, and it's a very nicely finished project. And I'm going to be doing a bunch of different things with this sort of layout. I've got one thing I'm planning on doing, showing different sorts of projectiles like bullets, and I'm going to be making those out of Fimo, and then putting mounting wires on those and mounting them against a background like this. You can do it with almost anything as long as it's not too incredibly heavy. So that is how we are going to be finishing our dragon claws, and I wish you lots of fun on your own projects. Have a good day. Bye.